Good morning, and I think that's my cue. I'm Sandy McDonald, and I'm the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, and I want to thank you for joining us this morning for this Judicial Projects CBE virtual outreach. So we're still virtual, gang. I hope all of you are being safe, taking care of yourselves, your family, and your company, and your employees. What we want to do today, and we want to thank the company, Stiles Pirtle, for taking this opportunity to do the outreach, which is not only necessary based on a goal, but their willingness and their understanding that the county is committed to our small business community. And as often as possible, as much as possible, in addition to an ordinance that says at least 25% of what we do, we have to do with small businesses. It's even better when, as a county, as a small business program, you're married to companies and project managers within county agencies that are committed to making sure that this happens. So I'm going to be brief today because I want to make sure that we can hear thorough information from the two presenting today, and then also get to some Q&A. But some of the things I do want to address starts with the PPP. Next slide. And PPP for me is 3 Ps. I apologize. I'm not talking about the Paycheck Protection Program. That's another workshop. But I often tell our small businesses, and if you're new, you'll hear this today, but if you come to other workshops, from our perspective, you'll hear this regularly, because this is what I need all small businesses to understand. On behalf of Broward County and the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, as a small business, hopefully you're a certified small business. If not, hopefully you'll want to become a certified small business. But either getting certified or being certified, you need to know from our perspective, the 3 Ps. Program. Business Opportunity Act 2012, as recently amended, 2018. That's the program. That's the county ordinance that spells out everything that we're supposed to do. It's the county ordinance that spells out everything user agencies throughout the county. Aviation, Construction Management Division, the Port, Convention and Visitors Bureau. All the agencies are supposed to do. And in that program, it also spells out what contractors, those who win contracts with the county, are supposed to do. So as a small business, you want to know our program. You want to thoroughly understand the Business Opportunity Act 2012. You don't need to remember it. You just need to know where to go in case you got a question. That program explains why we're here today. That program talks about CBE goals, county business enterprise. It talks about CBE reserves, opportunities when our CBE, our county business enterprises, have a chance to reserve a project and actually complete all the work on the project, but not as a subcontractor. The conversation we're having today, you're being considered as subcontractor. That program talks about SBE, our small business enterprise. That's our shelter market activity when the county procures goods, materials, and services, $250,000 or less. So you want to know the program, because with a sport analogy, by knowing the program and knowing the rules, you put yourself in a better position to participate. So definitely the first P is I need you to know the program. You can get the program, the Business Opportunity Act, on our website, broward.org/econdev, and you'll see our ordinance, Business Opportunity Act 2012. It was recently amended in May of 2018, and it says, in short, at least 25% of what the county procures, we're going to try to procure, we're going to try to buy from locally certified small businesses. So please understand the program and the advantages of being a certified small business. Process. You just don't want to be certified, and you just don't want to know the program. You now need to understand the process that we go through as government. You need to understand how to navigate the process. You need to make sure that you understand before bid ever comes out. There's a few places where you can pick up some information on a bid. You need to understand before a bid comes out, there's the potential of knowing that if this is a repeated contract, then you have a chance to go back and look at some historical data just to get a feel, not to copy, but just to get a feel of what the previous bid was like, what was asked, who won the bid, who actually bid. You understand, or you need to understand the process so that you get it. I'm talking CBE and I'm talking SBE. But folks, you need to also understand within CBE and SBE, it's still competitive. I would never want you to think just because you got certified as one of our small businesses, it's an automatic. It is not an automatic, but we help you to better understand the process. We do workshops to help you better understand the process. And understanding the process also leads you to people. Our process leads you to people. You want to know your small business specialist. Those are the folks in my office that when a bid is being set, you might get that email or that call inquiring if you're interested. That inquiry is only coming because based on the NAICS code, the North American Industry Code, we're going through our directory to see what businesses we have, because once we're asked by a user agency to consider placing a goal on a project, we have to go through a process to determine, can we place a goal? And that process is a part, again, of what you should know when we're emailing you and contacting you. We're trying to see if you're interested, but we're also trying to make sure that there's enough of you. So by the ordinance, we can establish a bid. So people-wise, you need to get to know my small business specialists when they're reaching out to you. People-wise, this is why we do the workshops we're doing this morning. Here's a chance to meet two companies who are committed to Broward and beyond, who's already committed to meeting our goal. Here's two companies, even without this meet and greet this morning, have and had the opportunity just to go to the directory and based on what they need, identify firms to see if they would be willing or if they were capable of providing the services they would need so that these prime contractors can meet the goal. These are the people who today are going to tell you the things you need to know. And what I know about both of them is beyond these judicial projects, because one, if not both, are also going to talk about some pre-qualification criteria. The upside to that is, as soon as you can establish who you are with them, then down the road, we're always going to encourage them to use our directory. But if they're already familiar with you, if you're already in their database, if you've already had contracts with them, if you've already nurtured that relationship, imagine for them, the next time they need that electrician, next time they need that HVAC, next time they need that concrete, that landscape, next time they need any of those services, they got certified firms they're familiar with. So getting to know people is also key. And even in this COVID time, these virtual workshops are still opportunities for you to get to know who our prime contractors are. They too follow the bid A through Z. They are aware of what the requirements are, but you need to know what the requirements are, and you need to find a way to engage them. And again, the reason I'm saying that is because it's still competitive. Folks, unless a prime goes to my directory and see only one firm, you have to recognize there's 3, 4, and in some industries, 10 and 12 of you. So what part of you understanding our program, what part of you trying to meet or nourish a relationship with these primes, what part of you do you get a chance to demonstrate how valuable you could be to these primes? And keep in mind, we used to say this when we did the face-to-face meet and greets. The first thing to come out your mouth is not, I'm a CBE. Because you go back to the directory, a whole bunch of your CBEs. First thing come out your mouth when you have that opportunity is knowing about the person, the company, the group you want to do business with. Knowing how what you do adds value to them. Knowing how you can stand on your credibility, your integrity, your character, and your skillsmanship and your craftsmanship and all that you did. And then in the end, you can certainly let them know that because you are a certified firm, you can help them meet that goal. But they want to meet businesses that are about business and who can deliver. But again, the upside about meeting and having these type relationships is one of our other themes, Broward and beyond. These are also the type of firms, if the relationship is nurtured properly, they could possibly take you on other contracts beyond Broward County contracts. So that's our 3 Ps. Understand program, get familiar with the process of doing business with government, and take advantage of my office and these opportunities to meet people who can probably help further your contract and your opportunity of your business. Next slide. So we're here also, and again, we normally do long presentations about certified, get certified. Not doing that today because again, hopefully the majority of you are certified. That's why you're here. That was our target outreach. But if you're not certified and if you're new as a small business, understand we got a local program. That's CBE and SBE, and I run a federal program too. That's the federal DBE and ACDBE. And our local program is race and gender neutral. This is simply the fact that you are a small business, you've been in Broward, you can prove you've been in Broward at least a year, you meet our personal net worth criteria, and you meet our revenue stream criteria as a company. All that's on our website. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that today because, again, I believe the majority of my audience, and there's close to 80 people on here and beyond the speakers, that means I got about 65 to 70 of you who should be certified. So you're here, and if you're not certified, get to my website and get that information, and also check out our events calendar because we will do more Get Certified workshops. Next slide. Get certified again, completing your local certification application. We even have a YouTube video. So if you don't want to hear my mouth, you don't have time for a workshop, we have a YouTube video if you're not certified that will walk you through the steps of getting certified. That's how ease of convenience and accessible. We want to make it to you guys because at the end of the day, that is the key. Getting certified helps to start the process. Next slide. And this is why we need you certified. When I start thinking about these projects here and more to come, when I think about the new additional renovations at the airport, when I think about the deepening and the widening of the port, when I think about a couple of other vertical construction properties that are definitely coming, vertical construction builds that will definitely be happening within the next 2 years. And when I think about surtax, when I think about that penny tax of 2 years ago that generates about $350 million a year, every year, and now I got to say for the next 28 years, it's a 30-year program, but we're already into 2 years, but it's still 28 more years to go. When I start thinking about the idea that even the cities, that's right, Broward cities, if they touch the surtax money, they too have a 30% goal. Whatever the cities do with surtax, at least 30% must be small business. Whatever Broward County does with surtax, at least 30% must be small business. So when we take a look at the bigger picture, we know there's about $53 million a year, every year, for the total 30 years. That should be carved out for small business. So when you look at my certification directory, when you look at my small business firms, when you see that I only have about 874 or so firms, and you recognize all the projects the county got going on, all the different industries by which we procure, all of the new activity and initiatives that are rolling out, yes, I need more than 874 firms. And again, I don't need firms just for the sake of having firms. I need firms who are willing to be committed to learning the program, the process, meeting the necessary people, and bidding. I need firms who are looking to be prime contractors. I need firms who want to be subcontractors. I need firms who want to grow their business as the county expands and grows based on projects. And hear me, you heard me a few times say the thing competitive. It is competitive. And at the end of the day, we're going to continue to challenge ourselves, challenge user agencies, more challenges down the road for prime contractors, because we are inclusive when you read the ordinance of all of our services. And I know mostly we do subcontracting, but I want to be clear. I'm clear with primes. I'm honest with primes. I'm honest with user agencies. We are moving to a day that we need to make sure all of my primes understand that any level of support can be eligible for the certified goal being met. Professional services, A&E, design. And again, I want primes to know it, but I'm also working extremely hard for county agencies to know it. We're going to have some projects in the future. I believe 1 or 2 this year that even on the front end, that A&E designing on the front end, that professional management on the front end, we're going to be carving out some opportunities for our CBEs and still carve out some of those opportunities for the subcontracting as well. We got to remember that as an ordinance, everything is eligible. So because of that, we've had meetings with user agencies and we're constantly reminding them as we are on the front end of projects, before they ever find their way to a bid, before they ever find their way to some of our primes. we want to start being more inclusive of aligning some goals on the professional services side, just as much as we do on the subcontracting side. So I say that because no matter who the listening audience is, I want you to understand by the ordinance, if the county procures the good, material, or service, if I have at least 2 businesses that can provide a good, material, or service, we're supposed to be considering a goal. So yes, don't look at that 874 like you got too much. Definitely check out our directory, find out your industry, find out how many firms I have, but don't let that shock you if you end up going to one of the industries and you see, wow, he has 20 firms. Do not let that discourage you, because what's the real question? You might have 20 certified in that industry, but how many are really aggressive in participating? You want to begin to speak for you and carve out a niche for you. And that's why I want more firms, because there's more opportunity, but I want more firms because I also want more competition. So next slide. So with that, especially on the certification side, we're in 2021. I apologize for the delay, but it's here now. Folks, we now have an online certification application. So if you are listening today and you're not certified, back in the day, your other certified colleagues used to have to go online, see my certification application, print it, fill it out with a number 2 pencil or ink pen, mail it in or drop it off. And I know that was archaic last year, even 5 years ago. But we have caught up with the times. You can now go online, complete your application, upload the necessary documentation, and communicate with us that way. So just want to let you know the online certification just started this month. Next line. And again, get listed, certified directory, as I alluded to, and it's not just the ideal of happenstance. On all bid solicitations, prime contractors are told about this office, how to reach out to us if they have any questions, but they're shown the directory. So in case you didn't know, primes who are looking to meet that at least 25% goal, they don't directly have to contact me or staff. They're normally just going to that directory to see the certified firms and the industries that they need. And the point I need to make about this directory, because it happened twice last week, so that's too many times for the last 3 years, but twice in 1 week. Folks, you have an obligation to make sure you have up-to-date information in the directory. I had 2 who missed an opportunity because their location and the phone number had changed. I only know it's different when you tell my staff it's different. I can only change it in the directory when you change it in the directory. Now, especially with what just happened with COVID, if things have changed, ownership have changed, address has changed, you got to remember that original certification application told you that you're responsible for updating us if there's any changes. You want to make sure as a small business, your information is accurate. When you get my renewal information, you want to renew with the most recent information. If you haven't gotten a renewal in a year, that means something wrong with you, not us. So that means your address might be wrong. Remember, we renew every single year. So the certified firm directory is important simply because even when we don't have these meet and greets, primes who see in their solicitation that they're required to meet a goal and they need to identify certified small businesses, they get to go straight to the directory. So make sure your information is accurate and up to date in our directory. Next slide. So with that, remember, before you ever get certified, you need to be a county vendor. You need to be registered with Broward County. You can't get certified with me unless you register with Broward County. So if you're new and if you're a few out here who are not certified, please understand, you get to register to be a county vendor for free. Take that 12 to 15 minutes and go get registered. At least you will now know when bids come out related to your industry, you'll get that information. Then work with my office to determine if it's advantageous to you to get certified. Get registered anyway. If you ever want to do business with Broward, you need to be registered. So you get to register on that website for free. Now, Periscope, formerly known as BitSync, they always go try to sell you what's going on in Texas, New Mexico, and for the low, low price, they'll give you bids all over the country. Pay that if you choose, but if you just want to know about Broward County bids, you can go to that site and register for free. So you always need to be a registered vendor before you ever become a certified firm in Broward County. So that's the link to register. Next slide. And with that, stay engaged. These are some county agencies have pre-bid meetings. We do as often as we can meet and greets, the other outreach events. We got a newsletter that goes out every Wednesday. You are busy small businesses. You can't attend everything. So it just simply means familiarize yourself with the things we do. Familiarize yourself with the newsletters and the information we push out. We try not to kill your emails. And just use those that are of advantage to you. Use those that can be of assistance to you. I like you, but I don't want to see you on every one of my virtuals. You're too busy. You need to be working. But find those that work with you. So we always say, stay engaged. There's a lot of ways to stay engaged, and we even use social media. Stay engaged and stay informed. Next slide. And that means stay connected. So again, there's our Twitter, there's our Facebook, there's our YouTube. That little digital thing is how you can put your phone camera to it, and you can then be registered with us to receive all of our notifications and information. You definitely want to make sure you subscribe to get that Wednesday newsletter that comes out every Wednesday about 6:15. And we offer hot tips. We offer hot tips in that newsletter. We offer hot tips. As we're reviewing things and going through a process again, we're sharing that in that newsletter. We can give you some information about future bids before they're official. Yes, through the system of Periscope, that's the official notification. That's 100% the law. But if I can tell you that there's a bid on the horizon that's in a specific industry that's going to be taking place by the summer of this year, that helps you to begin doing your homework. So the idea of the newsletter, we have a section called Hot Tips that begins to help you to prepare to put yourself in position, even for a meeting like today. So hopefully someone out here in this listening audience heard in advance, got the hot tip in our newsletter that this was going to happen. Someone in our listening audience decided, maybe I'll just email Stiles and Pirtle my capability statement. Someone decided, maybe I'll reach out to them to see if they do or if they require a pre-qualification document, and maybe I'll just complete that in the beginning. At the end of the day, we try to make sure we give you enough information where you can begin to plan and carve out where your opportunities are competitively as a small business. Again, it is competitive, and it's also recognized that you're extremely busy. But at the end of the day, we want to give you as much as we can. So stay connected with our office, with our staff, and through these social media tools. So with that, next slide. I'm going to introduce you to our first presenter. On behalf of Stiles, we have Miss LeBron, and she's going to come to you. And when she's done, she's probably going to introduce, or the slide will introduce the member from Stiles. But again, this is your chance to hear directly from them what they're looking to do, and more importantly, who they're looking for. So with that, thank you for the attention you've given me. And Miss LeBron, the floor is yours. I'm sorry, I think you might be on mute. You might be on mute.
Yep, fixed now. Thank you. So good morning. On behalf of the Stiles Pirtle joint venture, my colleagues here, we are pleased to be part of the outreach to present scope of work opportunities for 3 projects for the Broward Judicial County facilities. Stiles and Pirtle are headquartered in Broward County. Both our firms are family owned and operated. Pirtle has been operating for 52 years, and this year, Stiles will be celebrating our 70th year since our foundation. Our JV has been together since 2016. We are currently working at Port Everglades, building a garage for cruise ships. This team knows how to maximize CBE participation. Our projects consistently meet or exceed these goals. So we look forward to another 3 successful projects, and that we're going to be presenting here today for your consideration. But first, let's describe a few things to know about bidding Stiles Pirtle JV. First is the pre-qualification process. Per county requirements, we are to pre-qualify all bidders. So later on in the presentation, Mike will be going into detail and describe what is this process. Payment and performance bond. We require payment and performance bond on those subcontracts that are $100,000 or higher. And sometimes those are a part of the building envelope. Prevailing wage, Davis-Bacon Act. These are prevailing wage projects, which means that the subcontractor must pay their field personnel on these projects no less than the prevailing wage determination. And we will be posting those for you, including certified weekly payroll requirements. The other requirement we have is that, well, the county, is that to work on the premises, you have to have background check and an ID badge. So all personnel must need to have that ID badge, and the subcontractors bear the cost of these expenses. Our plan room is done via Smart BidNet, and that's what we use to send all our notifications. And on Smart Bid, you will have a trade summary, and that's the file name that we call. On it, we have it indicates all the requirements and highlights the scope of work for each of the trades. And we require for these to be filled out and returned to our attention. And lastly, for the Broward County bids, you need to submit your proposal in a sealed bid envelope. So all proposals are to be submitted hand delivered or mail. If you're mailing, as long as it gets before or on the bid day, you'll be fine. And with that, we're going to move on to present our first project. And that will be Scott talking about the copy center. Hi, Scott.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Larson. I'm the pre-construction manager for Pirtle Construction. And with Matt Swearinga, my estimator, we handle the majority of the pre-construction work for Pirtle and for the joint venture. Been working here in South Florida for a little over 20 years. Matt's been working here in South Florida for about 10 years as well. We have a very strong understanding of both the county's processes for CBE participation, as well as each individual project needs. So when it comes to the copy center, this is a small project that's almost completely an interior renovation. So the majority of the trades that we're using are interior trades. That ranges from demolition all the way through all the MEP trades. And this is a perfect project to get involved in, as none of the scopes are very large. So this is very well suited for small business and CBE certified companies. I'd like to pass it over to Mike Spurlock to go ahead. I'm sorry, back to to Mike Spurlock to go over the next projects.
Morning, everybody. Mike Spurlock here. Welcome. I work with Stiles. I've been with them now close to 20 years. And I've worked with both Scott and Matt on the Port Everglades project. And yes, I'd like to talk about the East Wing project. This is again another small interior job, and it will have components of interior demo, doors, frames, and hardware, millwork in typical drywall finishes, some reconfigured MEP, if you will, and also some reconfigured security and telecommunication systems. The bid date is March 2nd. And again, sealed bids, hand delivered or mailed to our office. A notice will go out for a site visit that we'll be having on February 17th, where we'll walk through the individual spaces and discuss and show what the scope intents are. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to be presenting the third project, which is the generator and switchgear replacement. It's currently bidding and open to pre-qualification. We have a site visit for February 17. It's non-mandatory and it will be time slotted because of COVID. The bid date is March 2nd at 5 p.m. Sealed envelopes. As you can see on the screen, you can see the trades that it involves. The project is about 1,200 square feet area. It's located at the corner of 3rd Avenue and the service road. The planter unloading areas are to be enclosed for a new generator room that will host two 1250 kilowatts generators. And there's an existing electrical room, about 1,100 square feet, that will be reworked to service the 2 generators. The trades we have are selected demolition, concrete slab work, work to existing precast panels, masonry walls, structural steel, support and deck sections, fireproofing, some roofing patches, drywall, paint, the rework of the ceilings. A temporary is heavy on the MEP side. A temporary generator will be required. Also important to know is that we will have some masonry infill work, and that will have to be done after hours, either during the week or during the weekend. And at the end, everything needs to be put back into place before the next business day. So that's one of the most challenging things. And with that, that's the 3 projects we have. Mike will now tell you about the pre-qualification process.
Morning again. It's a very simple process. Just email us either at bcprecon@stiles.com and or our individual emails that are also included in this package. It's a simple 4-page form that asks for your company information and your project references. There's also areas to fill out and to acknowledge if you're a CBE firm, and that's important to us, as well as if you're a firm that can provide a CBE goal, that's important to us as well. Note, again, we do have financial requirements for contracts over $100,000. We'd like to get a bond, a performance and payment bond on. So it's important that if you are bondable, that you include a letter from your bond company and tell us what your capacities are as well. Again, it's a simple form to fill out. If you email us, we'll get you this form almost within the same hour. And please email it back to us so that you can be considered to bid on these projects. Thank you. Oh yeah, here's what the form looks like. It's a 4-page form. Here's your company info. Here's the area where you will acknowledge if you're a CBE or hold a CBE certificate. And we also ask that you attach these forms with your qualifications as well. And here's the listing of project references. We give one as a sample and then we back it up with another one that can be used. Next slide. Back to Mary Angeli.
So thank you. So lastly, what we're going to show you, if you can go to the next slide with the RSVP. So if you're interested in any of these 3 jobs, these are the people that you should email your interest. In return, we're going to send you the pre-qualification application. And in there, I have the 3 bid dates. So for the copy center, the site visit is already passed. But for the east wing and the generator, we have a site visit next week, February 17. They're non-mandatory, and we need you to, once you are pre-qualified, we're going to send you the invitation to bid. And in there, we're going to give you the details and the time slot. We possibly we're going to do it per trade. So if everybody and we need to know also if you're interested in coming, so we don't overcrowd the area. And so it will be done throughout the day. And the bid dates for both of those are March 2nd at 5 p.m., all sealed envelopes. And the bid date for the copy center, it will be February 23rd, sealed envelopes, all of them end of business day. And with that, thank you. We pass it on back to Broward County.
I think you may be muted, Margaret.
Okay, who will be reading this? I can read them, Pamela.
There we go. I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, great. Well, let's open it up for Q&A. I'm just going to go see if we have a couple questions in there. Ms. LeBron, here's a question from Lionel Taylor. Would you be able to let us know if you will be using security guard services on these projects? And all of you that are on this, you can actually type into the Q&A your answer, but you can also give a verbal response.
I don't believe security guards will be necessary. The only one that is the generator is the only one that is on Third and the service road, and all that we're gonna be putting fencing. So send us email us, and I'll inquire if it is needed. Then I will have your information and we can reach you.
Thank you. Looking through here, Cynthia, do you have it? Well, you did talk about it. That you do have insurance and bonding or background checks for some of these projects.
Yeah, all of them. All of
That
them.
was, yeah. David Daly asks, please let me know if you will be needing construction risk and safety management services on any of these projects.
No, we will not.
And then MGOE 5 asks, I heard you mention roofing patching. Is this only on the generator bit?
Yes.
Actually, there is going to need to be some roofing on the copy center. It's something that I just realized on our site visit. So yes, that will be needed.
Okay.
It brings up a good point that I would like to add. Even though there are these scopes and you know what there is, even if you don't see what you directly do on these bids, we always encourage our CBEs, get pre-qualified, send them your information. Things come up in the process that maybe if it's obvious up front down the road, it may be something that comes up or they hadn't thought of. That does happen all the time. So we encourage any CBEs, even if you don't see a direct code that relates to you, please get pre-qualified with these guys because there's opportunity there. Megan Diston asks, will you need reproduction of engineering drawings and signage for the site?
We will send it to us. Normally, some of these are already pre-made, but send us your information and I'll pass it along to our marketing people.
Debbie Bailey asks, how soon is the pre-qual process? That's happening now, correct?
It's happening now, yes. Currently pre-qualified. So email the people I put on the last slide, and we'll work on it. We'll get you pre-qualified.
Yolanda Phillips wants to know, will there be any need for signage?
I didn't see on mine any signage drawings or requirement. Possibly on the east wing enabling, right, Mike?
I haven't seen any signage scope in the documents just yet, but again, please send us your information, and again, it might come up as we dig into these details, but I haven't seen it as of yet.
Tanisha asks us, how do we access the recording of this presentation? We will be posting it within 24 to 48 hours up on YouTube so that it's made available. And also, we encourage you to go to Stiles and Pirtle directly for the pre-qual forms. We do have copies here. However, if somebody needs it, you can also reach out to us. But it would be important to reach out to Stiles Pirtle. Geraldine Lewis asks, is certified payroll required for this job? And is that something that is contracted?
Certified payroll will be required because it's a Davis-Bacon Act project. There's prevailing wages. And that's something that each subcontractor would do on their own.
Okay, thank you. Will there be is it possible for there to be another site visit for the copy center? Realizing that happened on the 4th, I believe.
Not necessarily, but anybody, I can attempt to do that. Anybody who wants any more information, if you want to copy or contact me outside of this, we can figure something out.
And do we have any other questions?
There are some questions in the chat as well.
Okay, go ahead,
21.
Vanetta, and you can pose those.
Someone is asking if this is a prevailing wage project.
It is a prevailing wage project, all three of them, and all future bids projects that we will have, they will be prevailing wage, and they all will require background checks and ID badging.
Thank you, Ms. LeBron. Another question in the chat from David. Will pre-construction video and progress photos be needed on the projects? And also, where can I download the specs and plans?
So we do have companies that do that, but send us your information. I can pass that along to our project manager. It varies from project to project. These are the smaller ones. And most of them are interior work. So normally we do that when it's from the ground up. We don't post the plans. You need to be pre-qualified. Then we will send you your invitation to bid. It's a county requirement that we have to pre-qualify everybody that bids. And that is for everybody's convenient, that you don't want to be tossed out because you are not qualified to do the project.
Thank you. Next question from Vienna Freeman. Will you need dewatering on any CBE projects?
No, I don't need dewatering. How about you, Scott?
No dewatering.
No dewatering, but please send us your information. There's future projects within the county facility that might have it. So please send us your information.
We will, when we start doing the pre-qualification, we will start with the 3 projects going on now, but on the background will also be doing the getting prepared for the future work.
Wonderful, thank you. The next question from Paula. Any janitorial for any of the buildings?
If it is final cleaning, yes. If it is ongoing, no. Next.
The next question from Mildred. If you have already submitted a pre-qual application to either company, would you need to do another application for this joint venture?
Yes, for the joint venture. Yes, but just let us know. Just let us know that you're already pre-qualified and possibly we already know you. So just also let us know which of the 3 projects you're interested in bidding, and that way we can send you the invitation to bid.
Thank you. Another question from Lonnie. Apologies if this was already covered, but on joint projects, is it necessary to be pre-qualified by both firms, or if you are already pre-qualified by one, will that suffice? Thank you.
All right, so if we know you and we know that you have worked with us in the past and you are already pre-qualified, but because this is a joint venture and we haven't worked with you in a while, then send your updated information. Tell us which jobs are you interested, and after we complete the pre-qualification process, we'll send you the invitation to bid.
Thank you. Pam, those are all of the questions that I see in the chat. There may be more that have been added to the Q&A box.
There are a couple. We've answered some of them. Margaret Anglin was asking for Scott's contact information. It's up now on the bid and will be available or up on the screen. Let's see here. We answered about janitorial and construction cleaning. Nancy from MST Dumpsters says, we do dumpsters, so the pre-qual usually doesn't apply. So how do we get on the project as a vendor?
Send us your interest in the project. Just email us and we'll get to you.
And Sandy, this would be a question possibly for you. Why
Okay.
is it that the county is not requiring risk and safety management services to meet and exceed county requirements on any of these projects? Or maybe that does go back to Stiles Pirtle. I apologize.
Yeah, let's let them answer, and I'll certainly follow behind them on the risk and safety.
I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase it then?
I think I might be able to answer that. David, those are services that we provide in-house or through the joint venture. So it's not that they don't require them, it's that they're not a specifically subcontracted trade.
Exactly, and I'll follow up on Scott. That would be key, and that's one of the things we always teach or educate our small businesses. Based on your industry, and it goes back to program and process, based on your industry, you have to know what the county procures, what we buy. Remember, any good material or service that we buy, we can establish small business goals. If that good material or service you provide is already a part of an in-house process as a part of a bid, the county's not going to pay twice or do extra. So again, on all major projects, especially vertical constructions and redevelopment, the county is not slacking on risk and safety, but the county is holding the primes accountable for those services, and most primes provide that insight. So if I was a small business and I didn't see that directly as an opportunity as a CBE, I then want to make sure I familiarize myself with as many primes as possible, that if they don't provide that internally, maybe even they look at it externally, and I want to build that relationship. But I wouldn't want you to assume that the county doesn't require and have an expectation of risk as well as safety. We certainly do. But again, most of those on the verticals are already in-house with the primes winning the contracts.
Thank you, Sandy. Yolanda asks, although there are not any need for signage for this project, how can we go about providing indoor, outdoor, or digital signs for the primes that they may need throughout this project?
Send us your information and the pre-qualification. We'll send you the pre-qualification form and we'll start from there.
And Brian Cunningham asks, do your firms need additional outreach assistance in obtaining CBE or SBE firms?
Those far ways have reached our goals, reached or exceeded. So right now we're doing fine, and we get into trouble, we can always call Sandy's office. Again, don't be shy. Send us your information. We enter every subcontractor on a database. We mark them. The ones that are CBE are marked as CBE. And whenever we have our next job, or if we are in need, we're running short, we start looking through our database and add more people, and we reach out to you.
Thank you. And they're just asking, MGO E5 asks, can you please touch on the pre-qual process one more time? Just a quick review.
Who
And
the
I can,
form's up to, Pam?
I can go back to that slide.
Yeah, it's an email. It's a
Yeah.
simple email to either Scott or I, and or we set up a separate email in our system as well called bcprecon@stiles.com. And it's a 4-page form that asks for your company information and to acknowledge whether you're a CBE or small business or a woman-owned business. We ask that you include those certifications as well as backup, and then fill out a project reference list for us. If you're able to get a bond, please let us know what your bonding capabilities are, and back that up with a letter as well. So it's a very simple form to fill out. As soon as you email us, I can turn it around very quickly for you, and ask that you get it back to us as soon as possible. So it's a very simple form to fill out. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I think
Pam,
that
ask the one from Carlos.
the one from Carlos. Sandy, you go ahead
I'll
because
read it.
I
Yeah, I'm sorry.
don't see it.
When a
Thank you.
company provides construction aggregate materials and the capacity to deliver large quantities, how do I qualify as a vendor on these projects? And I think they just mentioned that, but Scott or Mike, if you want to just say it again.
Yes, please email us with your interest, and we'll get you a pre-qualification, and we'll see how that aligns with either our scopes or if we can get you other subcontractors that might be interested in using your products as well. You know, we can make those connections too. But it's important to please send us your interest, and we'll get you a pre-qualification form.
So team, when we talk about process and navigating process beyond Broward County, and we start talking about people, that's a real takeaway, I hope, that you're understanding. The more we bring the primes in front of you, it's not just the existing projects, it's future projects. It's forever and ever, amen. So when you find out that their interest in also going through the process is that they're asking for you to send a letter of interest to complete the pre-qualification 4-page form and to give as much information as possible, you have to understand that's a way to introduce yourselves for these projects. But I think you heard them also mention, that's a way for you to be established in their database. So even if they don't look or don't need what you have or who you are today, you're creating that relationship. And you should know that speaks volumes down the road. So it's not even about being disappointed after doing your pre-qualification if you're not selected for this one. Hopefully no different than what you do in private industry now here with the government. You recognize you need to establish as many of these genuine relationships as possible. You need as many primes to know who you are as possible. You need that old cliche, multiple irons in the fire. Yes, you need to work. Yes, you are busy. But if you can begin to establish yourself, if they can begin to check references, if they have someone that they know that they can trust, that repeated work is the key to growing your business and yourself. So definitely follow through. And that's always key with these workshops. And I love getting back with my primes just to find out who followed through. Because the ideal is you are trying to establish a relationship. They're busy, you're busy. You know, I even get those calls. Mr. McDonald, I emailed them at 10:10 and it's 10:25. I haven't heard back yet. Well, Mine is saying they're going to try to get something turned around in an hour. I do know you shouldn't expect it in 10 minutes. But I do believe that they're genuine. Our primes are mostly genuine. You're genuine. You have to establish that relationship. And I believe, even for those that was just told, even if it didn't look like they needed you, you were still just told to send the information of interest and to do the pre-qualifying. So I'm really hoping you understand that, you heard that, and that's something you do. Coming up, another one of our events is our next RISE Virtual Business Forum. And again, we want to introduce you to more resources, more access to capital. We know what COVID has done. We know what COVID is still doing. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure you know what we know. And there's local players who are going to be able to help some of our businesses grow their capacity, the bonding side as well as the financial needs side. And again, we're excited about the temporary support on the federal side, like the PPP, which can be forgivable, and the extended EIDL, which is just a loan. But grants are going to go away as COVID goes away and the economy begins to come back. But you still might be in need of resources and access. So I need you to come and hear what the SBDC has, what SBA has, what some of our local organizations, the 501c3s have in terms of loan pools. You need to just know what bodies are out there who have access to capital and resources that you might need. So that's the workshop coming up later this week on the 11th. Next slide. And it's survey time. We always need you to do the surveys. We're here not just to disseminate information. We really need to make sure the information is of value. And we also only want to be presenting information that helps you. So please work on my staff. Please do these customer satisfaction survey. They're not long, but we certainly need to hear back from the businesses. Pam or Vanetta, any comments?
No, just thank you for your time. We will, again, like I said, we'll have this posted with everybody's contact information with Stiles Pirtle. We appreciate you guys taking the time to be a part of this outreach event, and we hope we can make it as successful for you as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you all. That screen will stay up there so you can get through this survey piece and work that through. But again, on behalf of the Office of Economic Small Business Development, we want to thank you. And we want to remind you, as we said earlier, about stay connected and stay linked with us. There's a ton that we're doing. The county commission has decided, they decided actually last September, we want to push our projects out. We're still going through, but pushing these projects out, working with these primes to aid our small businesses and getting businesses back to work, getting employees back to work. That's something the county is going to be aggressive about. So we want you to pay attention to what we're rolling out. We actually got a workshop coming up next week where I'm going to have at least 4 cities begin to describe the projects in their cities relevant to surtax. Again, the county wants to use the projects that we already got money for to make sure we can put them on the street and make sure that our small businesses can begin to participate in a greater way. So again, thank you for this morning, and we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you, and stay safe, sustain, thrive, and grow your business.